It's always like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. Today I wanted to take a close look at the X Game Pro Edition, the 801. Because how is it today? Game speed, FPS 101 output, and of course Ultra HD 4K HDMI. The X Pro, oh man, this thing has some issues, I can already tell you that. It was basically like when I say even the successor, it was more like a new version of the normal X game. But I can tell you, it's everything but pro. Okay, but what are we going to get in the inside? So let's open it up. Alright, so we already did an unboxing of the X game system, and the Pro is basically like the newer model. So they are saying Pro, they love to make those names like Pro. Another thing you can already see, like normally we do have like maybe a fan in here, but you can already get a sneak peek, there's nothing in the inside. The thing with almost nothing. So what is also like a weird thing, sometimes we do get like okay controllers, but most of the time we do get like crappy ones. For example, these like Frankenstein PlayStation 2 knockoff ones. Like the D-pad is awful, like 4 separate buttons, but also it's absolutely garbage. The ABXY are okay, but they feel very stiff when you're pressing them in. And we do get like rubberized joysticks, but they are absolutely like the cheap quality. The unfortunate thing is with these freaking controllers, we do have USB, but it is not always told that you can use, let's say, a random Xbox controller for this. In the inside we do get an HDMI cable, a very cheap power supply. Here, look at this. It's already cracked, so that's how thin the plastic is. And of course we cannot even call this thing like a freaking like a toilet paper manual, because that's it. That's the only thing that we're going to get. And of course, the EV cable. So what I find quite interesting that they are using these systems for like next generation, let's say monitors, or better said like IPS or LCD displays. But they can also use it for a CRT. Quite interesting choice if you ask me. So when you're looking at this model, they're still using, I think it's the same mold, only this one is completely black, where the previous one was white and black combination. So what are we going to get with the Pro? So if you're looking at closely, normally we do have like this ventilation over here, and you can mess around with the lighting. You can see there is nothing inside. This thing always weighs absolutely like maybe like a couple of grams. Here we do get like the 2 USB ports like the previous one. We do have like an on and off switch. And at the back we do get ourselves the old school, let's say the connection for a CRT. So it's pretty damn cool if you want to play it old school. Then we do get the input for the power supply and the HDMI, and we do have the option to add games. And seems to be there is an SD card in here. So basically you can sideload some games if you want to. Alright guys, so let's connect it, let's see how bad the controller is, and let's play some games. So let's take a close look at the menu itself. So we're only having like support for Capcom, Neo Geo, NES, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Classic, Super NES, Super Mega Drive, Sega Master System, Game Gear, and of course the PlayStation 1. But the PlayStation 1 is a kind of weird situation going on, because you can't even add games with the SD card, but it works not really great. I will show you later on this video what I mean with this. When you're basically booted up a game, pressing select to start brings you to this special menu. The only thing that we can do is making a quick load and quick save. A little bit of a bummer in my opinion, because I wish I had like more options for scaling and other things. Another unfortunate thing is like the games have like a shitload of screen tearing, and the audio in general is not great at all. Also the audio is like way off the problem that we had like in the beginning with these crappy boxes. What's kind of funny when you're looking at the Game Boy Classic, that we're going to get actually some pretty good, decent like emulation performance. Also they are using this weird filter when you're looking at it. It's not like the pixel perfect, of course it's stretched like hell, but it doesn't really look that bad on the screen when capturing it. But also with Game Boy Color we do get some pretty damn good performance, and they use a kind of filter again, and it doesn't look that bad on a huge screen. Besides having like a shitload of screen tearing with some of the systems, I must say like the arcade stuff doesn't run really bad. So let's take a close look also at Neo Geo. But they completely messed up with the Super Nintendo 16-bit part, like with the Mega Drive.
You're right, the same team playing each other?
But PlayStation 1 is a little bit of a mixed bag, so when you're looking at the emulation performance, it's pretty damn good. When you go into the SD card, we can even like add new games, and there we're going to get the big issue. I did manage to get some games or some .img files to work, so out of nothing, one of my favorite games, a game can finally be booted up. So that is something, a very unique situation, because I had a lot of issues with a lot of these games. But there is something going on with the system I cannot really figure out at this point. So when we're going to try and .bin file doesn't boot up. Okay, so I'm looking into my file system, tried a couple of times, nothing boot up, black screen and goes back into the main menu. For example, Gran Turismo is an EMG file like the other game, but again, nothing boots up. So there's something particular at the file, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't recognize all the other games. A little bit of a bummer, it's absolutely like a freaking nightmare here. So let's try another IMG file, and also this one doesn't boot up at all. When you're looking at the inside, it's kind of funny, because there is almost nothing in the inside. Pro my ass, because the Pro is exactly the same like the normal version I've reviewed before. Of course we will have like different mainboard, but I knew mainly particularly when you're looking at, let's say, the basic plastic fantastic console housing itself, it's the same kind of nonsense they're using. And of course we do have like the same functionalities with AV out, HDMI out. The mainboard have been improved in a couple of ways, but then again, like arcade did run way better than the previous model, but we still had like another issues with 16-bit that worked pretty damn okay on the previous one. So when you're looking at it, we do have like more systems to play, but in overall, it's not a better situation over here, and it's the same crap all over again. Okay, so when you're looking at the emulation performance, but especially with some systems, yeah, it's absolutely garbage. Like, it's so bad. I'm thinking, like, how can you mess it up? Another weird thing is, like, when you want to play it on PlayStation 1, somehow they don't recognize any image whatsoever. This is like a common issue with the 801, or better said, the X Game Pro. It's a great example, like, how they release something. It's absolutely, like, garbage. It looks very nice on the picture, but in reality, it's something else. But thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and it will be great to see you in the next video.